conditions. CharlesEquipment.com.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Welcome to Haiti. We're with a group of radio hosts, so please join us on this journey as we travel through Haiti and the good work that Food for the Poor does for those in need.
The other two big problems in this community are water. The only source of water is from an irrigation canal. They do drink from it because it's the only choice that they have, but it makes the kids sick. They've even had some cases of cholera. And then food. Food is a big problem. Marie was telling me earlier that she was able to feed her kids a little bit of cornmeal this morning that she got from a neighbor, but nothing else to eat today.
When you do find food, but there's not enough for everybody, how do you decide who gets to eat?
I rather give each one the smallest portion so that everyone can find something to hold their hearts.
What gives her strength to keep on going and to keep fighting?
I pray to God. Sometimes I wake up and I can't get up, but I pray to God and I ask for strength.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. That was obviously Amy during her time in Haiti.
Yeah, our trip in 2017 when we went to different villages. We went to Desert Goat and Savant Capri and met people who really, they're deciding which child to feed. Do I feed my oldest one tonight? Do I feed my youngest one? And Food for the Poor, if they were not there on the ground in Haiti and in Latin America, children would starve to death. There's just no question in my mind because they don't have a government to back them, the people in need, to feed them. So they rely on Food for the Poor in order to get their food, in order to get clean water, because Food for the Poor goes into villages and puts in a water filtration system, a well, so to speak, so that they can drink clean water. And in a lot of cases, too, they build them little houses that they can live in instead of huts or tents, handmade tents that they live in. So it's real poverty out there. And I know times are so hard for Americans right now. I know a lot of you are living paycheck to paycheck, and you've never had to do that before. But if you can donate, because today's Giving Tuesday, if you can we'll triple match. Every dollar given will be matched with $3 worth of food. So you can sign up to be a business benefactor, which we'll get into, or you could just visit our website, 560theanswer.com/foodforthepoor. Excuse me. And they will triple match your donation today.
560answer.com, and then click the red Give Life banner as well to participate in the Giving Tuesday triple match that Amy just mentioned. For more on the work, we're pleased to be joined by Paul Jacobs. Paul, thanks for being with us. Appreciate it.
It's great to be here. And can I just ask a question? Who in the world is messing with the thermostat? It is 15 degrees. Can somebody please make it a little bit warmer here in Chicago?
Yeah, that can happen when winter sets in, unfortunately.
I'm from Florida. This is not supposed to happen in my bones.
Yeah, me too. Well, these days. Anyway, so tell us about sort of the state of affairs here with respect to the campaign that you're doing with us and with other Salem stations to provide this life-saving assistance.
This is exciting because our Day of Hope, coupled with the fact that we are today kicking off our campaign on Giving Tuesday, a day where every dollar is matched with $3 worth of food. That means that, yes, Amy, you said it so accurately that people are struggling right now, living paycheck to paycheck. Things economically have not been any worse in this country. But you can just imagine in a place like Haiti, where a mother is earning possibly $1 or $2 a day, when civil unrest coupled with that failing economy and joblessness coming out of 3 years of COVID has made things that much worse since your trip to Haiti and my trip to Haiti as well. And so now we're asking you to just consider what your $1 could do, what $80 could do, what you as a business or a ministry with a gift of $2,500 on this day, providing 94 children, not for a meal for a month, not for a couple of months, not till the end of this year. No, we're talking about 2 meals a day for 94 children for an entire year. And so there are families waiting for your answer right now. And I want to say thank you to Diane from Bridgeview. She gets it, $100 gift. She called us toll free at 844-862-4673. You know, Dan, you said something earlier. You said this is not political, and we shouldn't make this political. We should make this about what this season is. It's a season of giving. It's a season of thinking of others. And when we think about the time we've just spent in Thanksgiving, family, friends, and community, could we expand our borders this morning with our definition of community and save lives?
And you've been around since 1982. You've delivered more than $12 billion worth of food. And people don't know that when you donate to Food for the Poor, the money goes to the poor. And you have these feeding centers. And I remember, people came from miles in Haiti to walk to get a bucket of rice and a bucket of beans. Are those still up considering the civil unrest that's going on in Haiti?
That's a great question. We've actually had to suspend the canteen operations, but COVID created a level of creativity that we have never seen in our over 40-year existence. What we ended up doing was we started to do regional distribution centers. Our pastors and local ministry partners said we still need to feed these families. There are still even more families that are in need. So now we take those dry rations and those food kits and spread them across the country in various areas so that we're still working with the church. We're still helping get your gift to the families that need food, and the children especially that the schools are shut down or their parents are not working anymore. They are still getting that food because we've been able to get creative with our regional food distribution centers from Port-au-Prince all the way to the north in Cap-Haïtien.
Do people still walk miles, though, to get the bucket of rice and beans like they did before?
Oh, absolutely. You just think, for example, in a place like Léogâne, which is about an hour outside of Port-au-Prince, there are teams of families that literally walk for an hour, 2 hours. One particular mother, she walked about 2 hours just to get the only food that that family will see. And quite frankly, the families have grown. Families have come together, and it was a family of 5 has now grown to sometimes 15 in their household because these families have consolidated their efforts together so that they could survive. And there are still families walking 1 and 2 hours. But now, instead of having to come to our headquarters where everything runs in Port-au-Prince, where you've traveled, they now can go somewhere that is a little closer in their community.
We talked about this over the last couple of years with COVID, as you were describing, and how the supply chain breakdowns. I remember vividly before the lockdowns, David Beasley, the head of the UN World Food Program, was saying, please do not lock down your economies in the West because you're going to disrupt and irreparably harm our supply chains and thus our ability to feed people. You're going to induce a lot more death than you're going to prevent, essentially what he was saying. And I thought that was pretty persuasive. And I wonder how the sort of the holistic environment is with respect to trying to get food and potable water to people in need now that we're a little further removed from those lockdowns.
Yeah, that's exactly that's a great question, because what's happened now is we've had to get creative. And of course, Haiti is a very unique situation with quite a bit of civil unrest and a lot of things that are happening. Food for the Poor now, than like never before, is in need to do the work that we've continued to do. Through COVID, through the civil unrest, through everything that has gone on, Food for the Poor has not stopped. But we've gotten creative with our ministry partners and our community leaders, where we've been able to, where roads have been closed, we take barges. Where we cannot get to the north because there is no access, we've shipped into other ports. So we've been able to figure out ways where we are probably one of very few NGOs that are still getting hundreds of containers into the country with the gifts and the food that your listeners are providing right now on this donation, on this Day of Hope.
Yeah, and besides the food, I mean, you do help with water purification systems, wells, so to speak. I remember when we went to Savant Capri,
Yeah.
kids were swimming in this water in this little river, Dan. But then there was also a donkey in there, and then there was people bathing in there, and then there's people grabbing buckets of water to drink, and it was just such a strange dichotomy watching this, and that's why the kids were getting sick.
Yeah, it's interesting. You talk about food for the poor, and it is a bit of a misnomer in our name that we are not just providing food. We began with a food program in 1982 in Kingston, Jamaica, and expanded to now primarily 19 countries across Latin America and the Caribbean. But in particular with Haiti and what you say, there are houses being built for families that literally are living in total destitution. Huts, I can only call them shacks or huts. I have a shed in my backyard that is has a structure more sturdy than what we've seen in Haiti. Now they have locking doors. Now they have a private bathroom where they can wash and bathe in dignity. Water, as you said, Amy. I remember traveling to a community where on one side there was a guy washing his motorcycle. On the other side, there's a team of moms doing laundry, and in the middle there was this little girl. Her name was Chauveline, that was siphoning out in a bucket the water that she would drink and have to cook with. Her mom would have to cook with that night. But today, our goal is food. And today, we're at the tip of the spear, which is giving healthy, nutritious food to these children.
And the number to call if you want to make a donation, 844-862-4673, 844-862-4673, or visit 560theanswer.com/food for the poor. And remember, up until midnight tonight, every dollar that you give on this Giving Tuesday will be triple matched, $3 worth of food, including if you sign up to become a business benefactor.
Talking to Paul Jacobs from Food for the Poor. Paul, let me pose the question of the cynic. It's a role I was born to play, and I think I have an answer to I think I have an answer to the question that I'm about to pose, but I want to hear yours because it'll probably be better. What do you say to the person that says, can't countries like Haiti ever get their act together? This is just interminable, and it feels like the support that we provide doesn't solve the fundamental problem.
Up until October 25th, 2010, I had a PhD in cynicology myself before I came to work here at Food for the Poor. But my family being of Jamaican descent, my wife's family, my wife is from Guatemala. She used to be the administrator for one of our ministry partners there. And seeing that what is happening in the lives of the communities, it is no fault of Mireille, the mom that Amy met on her trip to Haiti. It is no fault of, Chauveline, the little girl that I met siphoning out that filthy water. It is the fault of the institutions that hold them back from really progressing. And that's why, for more than 40 years, Food for the Poor is working with trusted ministry partners, not the local government. We are not paying tariffs and fees so that we can get our items into the country that are going to the government. No, we are working with ministries on the ground, and we push all of that back so that we can save lives. And that is why you listening right now and questioning whether Food for the Poor is somewhere where you would like to invest your hard-earned dollars to save lives. Well, Dan and Amy can tell you, because Amy's seen it firsthand, and we've had a long-term partnership with Salem, Chicago, and WIMD AM 560. And we do the work that we say we're going to do, not just for the time we've worked with this station, but for more than 40 years.
And again, I always like to add this just because of the credential. This is an important credential. 5-star Charity Navigator rated. 90% plus of the dollars raised go directly to the programming, meaning the food and resources for the people that you're serving.
Yeah, that's exactly right. What are others saying about Food for the Poor should answer the question. We can say as much as we want to say and break our arms patting ourselves on the back, but there are other organizations like Charity Navigator, like the Better Business Bureau, that have already vetted us and audited us and seen the work that we're doing and seen the outcomes. And there's no greater testimony than all of the Salem broadcasters that you listen to on a regular basis, Mike Gallagher, Amy Jacobson, that have seen it. Formerly, Larry Elder, who's formerly of Salem, has traveled firsthand and seen the work on the ground that Food for the Poor does.
And it really is unbelievable, the conditions that they're living in. They don't have beds. The kids were sleeping on the floor in one of the huts that we went to, and they just would love a blanket. I mean, kids in America, they want, oh, I want a Barbie doll for Christmas, or I want a race car. They just want food.
Yeah.
Well, also
Or
too, I mean, just
clothing.
the idea. I mean, just to put this in, put an exclamation point on this, $80 gives 3 kids food for a year. I mean, it's amazingly cost effective. You can't believe you could actually do that for $80, frankly.
And you can make a donation on behalf of a well-fed child or grandchild that you have, and for Christmas say, hey, you know what? You have everything, so I made this donation to Food for the Poor, and you're helping 3 kids eat for a year.
The number, again, 844-862-4673. That's the toll-free number. You can also text WIND to 93999, Herman Cain, 93999. And click the red Give Life banner at 560answer.com to donate as well.
And Dan, we have some good news. We have some business benefactors. So if you own a business or you make the marketing decisions for your company, listen up. This is the best deal in all of Chicagoland radio. A one-time tax-deductible gift of $2,500 to Food for the Poor. And again, it's Triple Match Giving Tuesday, so today's the day to do it. As a way of saying thank you, we give you 40 one-minute commercials that will air right here Monday through Friday between 5 a.m. and 8 p.m. Again, it's the best deal in all of Chicago radio. We have some business benefactors that already signed up. Century 21, Circle Real Estate, and High Tech First, the High Tech Book. They have signed up to be business benefactors. So if you want to be a business benefactor and get those 40 one-minute commercials while you're helping those in need, call Anjanette Natowski at 847-472-8951. Again, 847-472-8951.
Paul Jacobs, thanks for joining us. We'll check back with you in a little bit.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Amy.
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou, a term provider, 800-555-2085. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save an